Hi, my name is Lydia. I am your host for this tutorial on reading and writing files in 64-bit Windows. Today we will be dealing with file I/O by two different techniques. I will be handling the fast, easy way to both load and save complete files. Later my colleague Jack will show you how low-level file I/O works, and between the two techniques, you will have a good grasp of how to write fast and effective file I/O in 64-bit Windows. The use of macros for performing tasks of this type is based on the idea that Windows system code is basically hack code that you need to use to interact with the operating system. You need to understand it, but you save your time and effort for writing algorithms with Intel mnemonics by using macros. The first macro is load file. Pass either a pointer to a file name or a file name in quotes, and the macro will return a memory address in the RAX register that contains the file. The RCX register contains the file length. Something that is important: when you have finished with the file, you must release the memory that the file is stored in, using either global free or the macro mfree. The second macro is save file, a technique to save the data you require to a disk file. The macro takes three arguments, either a pointer to a file name or the file name in quotes, a pointer to the memory that contains the data, and the number of bytes to write. The number of bytes written is returned in the RAX register. While it may be of no interest to you, the complete macro code and the library module used is available in the M64 lib library and the macro file macros64.inc. There is no secret code or encapsulations in MASM64. I will now hand you over to my colleague Jack, who will explain how to use the lower-level techniques for reading and writing files.
Thank you, Lydia. The low-level file I/O macros give you the capacity to deal with file input or output in either a sequential or random manner. You use these techniques when you need to work with files that you have already opened. Note that file I/O using the Windows file I/O functions are not strongly moded like many high-level languages. You are dealing with byte data being written to locations in an open file. The macro names have been designed to present a consistent interface, so that they are easier to remember and understand. The full set of macros are in the MASM64 macro file and are effectively wrappers around Windows system functions. This code is of course available in the macro file. The first thing you do is create a file handle. With the file handle, you can then either create a new file with the macro flcreate, or open an existing one with the macro flopen. You can read data from an open file with flread. It takes three arguments: the file handle, the address of the buffer to read the data into, and the number of bytes to read. You can write data to an open file with the macro flwrite. It also takes three arguments: the file handle, the buffer that has the data to be written to disk, and the number of bytes to write. There are a number of macros that just take the file handle as the sole argument. While a file is open, you can get its size by using flsize with the file handle. You can flush the file buffers with flflush also using the file handle. You can set the end of a file at the current location using flsetEOF just by using the file handle. If you need to write a line of text at a time, you can use flprint using the file handle and the text, which can be either quoted or a pointer to the text. When you need to change the position in an open file, you use flseek using three arguments: the file handle, the distance is an offset, and the location in the file. For more information, refer to the Windows reference material for the function setFilePointer. When you have finished with the open file, you use flclose by specifying the file handle. Lastly, there is a macro to delete files that does not depend on the file being open. fldelete that simply takes the name of the file to delete. This is a wrapper around the system function delete file. To reiterate, create a file handle, open a file or create a file with a name of your choice, perform the functions you need on the open file, then close the file when you are finished. That is all for the moment. I will pass you back to Lydia.
Thank you, Jack. Your contribution will be very useful to people who want to write fast file I/O in Win64. That's all we have for you today. I hope that you will find this tutorial useful and will successfully write fast file I/O in 64-bit Windows. Bye for now.